Hello everyone, it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio. Today I'm sharing with you a little art journal page that I made using tons of die cuts from www.inloveartsshop.com. This is a company that sells crafting supplies, lots of thin dies, as well as some stamps and other stuff that you can use for card making, scrapbooking, things like that. And I thought it would be super fun to use my new dies today from In Love Arts along with a new die cutting machine and some new glue that I got. The month-long event is still going on for art journaling every day, so there'll be a video every day this month in November of 2019. And this is day 7, and the prompt is add. And so the first thing I did was I did some stenciling. When I was thinking of add, I was thinking of math symbols. I also searched for a quote that would go along with math symbols, and I found a cute one. And I have a few stencils. This one I think is from it's from Michaels. I'm not sure what brand it is. Maybe Heidi Swap. I'm not sure. Then I also have this Stencil Girl Products little 4x4 one that has a lot of different mathematics symbols on it. And then I have a larger one from Stencil Girl Products that's called Math Man, and it has some equations and things on it. I'm using some light green, some white, and some turquoise colors. And I am stenciling over the top of a gel print that I made. This page is 5.5 by 8.5, and it's all, my whole book is done with gel printed papers that are printed on both sides. That's what I'm doing this year for Art Journal Habit. This is our 5th year, so we've been doing it a while. So I'm just stenciling on to make the background more interesting, and then I use that same color and kind of sponge around the edges just to make sure that the edges are all cohesive. And then I know I'm going to build a flower garden or a lot of plants using my new die cuts, so I decide that I better make a ground. I don't like it when things are floating and when they don't have a ground. And so I'm using a little bit of brown acrylic paint and just a torn scrap of paper to just create some ground on the bottom of the page to plant all my plants in. So then I get out a little bit of a lighter color just to give it some more dimension before I'm finished with my ground. And after that, pretty happy with my background for my page. It's got lots of color, it's got lots of pattern. And so I have a new die cutting machine. The one that I had before and that I still have and will continue to use for larger dies is a Big Shot. So it's large. I have to carry it over to my desk and it takes up a lot of space. And I wanted one that would just sit on my desk that I could use die cuts, little die cuts, anytime I want. And I have a lot of them, and a lot of them came from inlovearts.com, www.inloveartshop.com. They've sent me dies a couple times, and also they have extremely reasonable prices. So I recommend that you go over there. There's usually a 15% off coupon as well, plus the prices are really good, and they've got a lot of cute little thin dies. Now these dies came attached together, and if you're going to use your larger die cutting machine, there's probably no reason to snip them apart. But since I'm going to use this new Prism really tiny die cut machine, I wanted to snip them apart. So I'm using just regular wire cutters for jewelry making, and I'm just cutting those little connections. Doesn't take very long to give me a lot of little individual dies. I have a sunshine with some clouds. I've got a couple different sets of flowers and leaves and things like that, stems. One of them has it would be really cute for making like a Mother's Day card. It has some tulips and some greenery and then a little bow and a tag, kind of a little tag that you could, make a little bouquet with it with die cuts and then put like for mom or something on the little tag. But I'm going to use them individually, and I have 2 different sets. So I'm starting with my little machine, and the thing I liked about the machine is that it has this thing on the bottom that is like a suction thing with a flip thing, and I can put it on my glass mat and then tighten that flippy dial thing down, and it suctions itself to the glass so it doesn't move. It's really nice. And then of course it has a base plate and a cutting plate. It also came with an embossing plate and a little rubber mat. So it's got all the bells and whistles, and I can use all my little In Love Arts dies in it because a lot of the ones I have are small. I also have some larger ones from them that are for making books and things. I even have one that makes little houses, and I did that on a video not that long ago, and I'll make sure to link that one in the iCard as well as another video I did for them making an album using one of their dies. I have a large uh, die that cuts pages to make an album. So I'll link both of those videos as well so that you can see some other In Love Arts dies. But these are the smaller ones, and they've got, you can see there's little all different types of shapes of little stems and leaves and sprigs and all kinds of fun stuff. So I'm using my gel printed paper, which is was gel printed on lightweight paper from the printer. It's just inexpensive printer paper, and it's got acrylic paint on it and design on it. And I'm cutting out all these little stems in different colors of greens and turquoise that match my background. And then I'm even going to cut some more. I want a lot of them. I want to fill it out. So I cut quite a few times. Then I have this other new thing that's called a glue sponge, and it has glue inside a plastic container, and I can just press the little dies down on it, and it gets glue on the back. My usual method for my art journal or whatever I'm making would be to use just a brush and some matte medium to put these down. But these little glue box things, little glue sponges are all the rage right now. They're showing in the trade shows and things. So I wanted to give it a try, and it works fine. I got a lot of glue on my fingers, and so that kind of annoyed me a little bit. Also, you need to store it upside down, which just so you know. So I needed more little stems. I got out some more of the dies and some different color paper. I wanted some darker color paper as well. So I cut another round of the little stems and sprigs. Just stacked a few of them on there, put the paper over it, put the little cutting plate, and just run it through. Pretty darn easy to cut all kinds of cute little things. Could I cut these things with my scissors? Yes, but would they be this intricate? Probably not. And would it take a long time? Yes. So this might seem like it's taking a while to run them through the machine, but actually these are very detailed cuts, and I think they're super cute, and it's pretty fast. Especially if you're making something like an ATC or a greeting card. Making a page, it took a little bit longer. I needed more little pieces to put on. I wanted it to be like a flower garden, very full. Lots of them across there. I like the way it looks using gel printed paper because there's so much pattern. There's so much different interesting pattern. More interesting to me than using, say, like a piece of cardstock or something that's just one color. I like having the pattern on it. So this one is the sunshine. It came with a sunshine and a couple different cloud dies. I didn't use the cloud dies. I just used the sunshine because I wanted it to be shining down. I know a lot of you are in the cold right now, and you're like, this just doesn't make any sense. This is November, it's cold, but you know what? Here in Arizona today, it's 80 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's not cold for me right now, and I have no problem making this little growing thing. In fact, my tomatoes are having a heyday. I have a like an up above ground rolling raised bed, and I'm growing tomatoes in it. And all through the hot part of the summer when we had over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, the tomatoes were not happy. And now that it's down to 80, I have about 50 or 60 green tomatoes on my plants out there that I'm hoping will ripen up, and I'll have some more tomato pies to make. So pretty, it's crazy here in Arizona. That's what it's like. It's warm here. In November, I'm growing tomatoes. I know that seems strange. So then I also wanted to cut some flowers, so I got out some dies that I had gotten previously. The same type of thing, just thin, little thin dies, and I'm going to cut some flowers as well. So I'm getting out some other different papers, just trying to find some brighter colors. I ended up finding a piece of fluorescent pink, which I really enjoy on the page. That really stands out on the page. And then some orange and some lavender and light blue papers. And I put a couple of different dyes on there. The ones with the stems, I'm putting them on there and then I'm just cutting the stems off. I don't uh, I don't need the stems because I'm just going to put those over all the other little stems and bits and parts that I had on there. So gluing these down. I think this turned out really cute. I like it. I like all the whole situation of having all the flowers and plants. Makes me happy. Lots of pattern and color, and I enjoy it. And I'm very happy with this little machine. It can just sit right next to me on my desk on the table. I don't have to go find it and carry it. It's not heavy, and it'll be really easy to quickly use all my little In Love Arts dies that I have been collecting. I'm going to collect some more. They have a lot of really cute alphabet dies that are in different fonts, and I want some of those. So my next collection will be a bunch of the alphabets. I like having little letters to put on my art journal pages and things like that. I enjoy that. So I'm going to be collecting some of those next. So I had to get a few more. I cut out some light blue and some lavender in my next round here with the same dies. Just a lot of fun. If you have some dies, I recommend that you get some gel printed papers to cut because you'll be happy with them. They'll be more interesting than if you used regular one solid color papers. And they cut really easily, especially if you've been gel printing on thin paper. So I'm just about done with my page. I am going to save all these little extra pieces that have the negative space. I think they'll be fun for collage as well at some point. You know, the parts are cut out of them. I think those will be interesting too in like more abstract applications. Get some more glue. So I will of course have a link to In Love Arts and all the different dies that I used from them today. And I'll also have some Amazon links for the uh, Prism tiny die cutting machine and the glue and whatever else I used below the video. So you can use that. I used a baby wipe just to make sure that everything was pressed down. So then my next step is to get out some Faber-Castell Pit Artist pins and my water tank brush, and add a little bit of shading. I think that really helps all those glued on pieces stand out more from the background if they have shadow around them. So I just quickly go and add a little bit and then blend it out with my water brush. It's super quick and fast, and it really does have an impact on the page as a whole. So I do that. And of course, I also have to then come back in and add highlights. These are my shadows. I've got to add the highlights with a white Posca pen after I'm done with this part. A Posca pen is an acrylic paint pen. And I could do this with a Posca pen as well, but I have a lot of different colors of the Faber-Castell pens. They are an India ink, so they're permanent, and that is nice for mixed media, just in case you're going to put something over the top. You're going to put something wet over the top of it. It's a good thing to have a permanent ink. So I always like to use my Pitt pens. Quickly, I'm not drawing a line around every single section. I'm just kind of putting them here and there where I think they'll have an impact and then blending it out. it would take too long. Also on the stems, I'm only putting the shadow on one side as if the sun is coming in from that that left side and shining from, the sun, the light, would create a shadow on the opposite side of the stem. Does that make sense? Light coming in from the left would mean the shadows are on the right. So I'm just putting one line shadows on the right hand side. And then going around the sunshine too and blending that out so that it stands out from the background a little bit. And then here's my white Posca pen, adding a little bit of highlights and quick, quick little highlights and illustration line type things over all my different flowers and stems really quick. And then the next thing that I do is to bring in my quote. Sometimes if a prompt stumps me, I look up a quote to put on my page, and this one says, add smiles, subtract worries, divide your problems, multiply your happiness. And I think that that works perfectly for this prompt of add, and also for all my math symbols in the background. It's a quote that's mathy, but yet has a really positive message. So I'm using my Brother P Touch label maker to make my quote and print it out and stick it down. It's sticky tapes because it's a label maker. And then adding a little shadow around them. And I think the last touch was to glue some buttons in the center of some of my flowers. And that was it for this page, using all my new stuff from inloveartshop.com and my new die cutting machine and glue. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please remember to give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment or question below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Be sure to turn on your notification bells. There's a video every day this month, and if you're not getting if you don't know about it, then you're not getting notified. That's it for me. Thanks. Bye-bye.